Hello, welcome back to Hidden Home. Just a quick video really for a bit of a progress report on the Steinway cinema that we're updating. I try not to sound so boring like I normally do, and I try and chill out because I saw and also check out on the Home Cinema Alliance, their podcast series. I'll put a link in the description. There's an interview with me where I actually relaxed for the first time on camera, I think. So you get to hear the backstory, how I started in the industry and things like that. But anyway, keep you all guys so you don't disappear off in the first 30 seconds. What I'm laying out today is I'm actually sort of building the skirting boards, but what I have to take into consideration with that is how the fabric track system and the depth of the fabric interact with that. So like the depths, the finishes of everything. So I can show you the kind of levels of joinery that you would need if you're going to be doing this yourself, with all of these kind of complicated angles and different layers and things like that. So yeah, if you wanted to take on a high level project like this, then it will give you some insight for that. And likewise, if you're just interested, it's a bit of the nitty gritty, and it is, I guess, if you like it, it's interesting. So on the walls, the other thing I'll also show you is some of the downlights we've fitted and the difference, because I've got some of the old ones, these ones, and some of the new ones which are over here. I'll show you the visual impact and a bit of dim to warm stuff as well. So, right, start with this fabric track. So what we've started to do over here is basically frame the timber substructure with some nice super level, super precise MDF, so that all the wobbles in the CLS timber start to get taken out a little bit. So it goes from being raw timber like that to the MDF framed, where we level out all the joints with packers, we sort of tie them together if necessary to make sure the depths are all right. So when the fabric track runs across, it doesn't kink, and then when you stretch the fabric, everything looks absolutely spot on, because it's absolutely fine to do it on the CLS, but if you want that attention to detail, this is what we need to do. Then what that means is when you get to the bottom, this over here is probably the better bit. So the fabric track sits on this face here, and what we're doing here is we're packing out the skirting boards. As you can see here, these will become the skirting boards. We're packing them out so that the fabric doesn't overhang the skirting board. It will overhang slightly just to get rid of this sort of joinery gap. We've set it up so I think there's about a 3mm overhang, but effectively it still allows the skirting board to sort of stick proud like you would visually expect. We're also lifting this up because we're going to inlay, we're going to hard wax, like floor wax, this and this, and this will be quite significantly wider, about 200. That's for two reasons. One, it looks really cool and gives a really hard wearing surface at the edge of the room, so things like the threshold as you walk in and stuff like that. But also it means that from a cost-effective perspective of the carpet can stick to a 4-meter wide roll, because we can bring the room in ever so slightly, and that saves the client money on carpet rather than having to go to the special order 5-meter. But this corner down here is probably the whole crux of everything, and the proper maths quiz. The proper maths quiz, because we put a 45-degree angle on the corner with these base traps, we then end up with, I think this corner is probably the best one to show you, a 22.5-degree mitre. And I've stacked this one out, not with the MDF this time, but with a second layer of Outcromat here. And what that's for is when we use the slatted wood panelling at the front here, where it steps back in between the wood slats, it means you'll only see black down in those little recesses. So we've got the complicated miters there, and here it's even more complex because we can't miter the edge of the fabric, so that's going to come off at 90 degrees. So we've got this little kind of crazy bit going on in this corner. Can't even explain what that is. But then we're going to need compound miters here, where the floor inlay has the 22.5-degree cut in it, but it's also undercut at 45 degrees, so that with the expansion and contraction it doesn't open up a crack. It all looks really nice. A different angle of that here is here. So what we do with the skirting boards is you can see this 45 degree. That's so that when that's back and all fixed in place, if there is any subtle expansion or contraction. It doesn't open up a complete crack all the way to the back of the skirting board. You just get a slight line in the finish, so it looks much nicer. So that's where we're at with all of the joinery. Oh, and also a couple of little subtle details like these here, they're not there for any reason other than to support the acoustic treatment, so it doesn't all end up bunching up down in this bottom section with the weight of the stuff above. And again, I've put the support in here so the deep treatment up here doesn't just fall down. I will probably stick some shelves in here. I've also come up with a really good trick in my mind for how to finish this cubby hole for the sub. If I can actually action what's in my brain, I think I can make that entirely invisible. So we'll have the wood paneling in the corner. I'll take the kind of, whatever it is, 8 or 10 mil of fluff off the back in the bottom section. I'll create a MDF frame to the same depth, and I'll upholster that in black fabric and fix that back onto the wood paneling. So effectively you've got like a fabric opening for the sub in that corner. The other one will just be freestanding at the back. There's no real justification for going to the lengths of some sort of joinery, effectively just to make it appear bigger. The other one I was talking about was the lighting. So what we've put in place here is just a quick fix to, get them in. We're going to paint the ceiling. So I don't know what the best way of doing this is. No, just normal. So we've got black surrounds. They've got black I can't even see. Up inside is a black recess, and what it does by recessing the light source up and having that black thing is, if you look at the glare difference between these front lights here, which were the old ones, and if I get close like I was to the other ones, there's almost zero glare. So those versus those, doesn't come across on camera, but it's almost like eye strain versus no eye strain. And then the other one is, and I don't know if you'll see with my big work light on, is when we dim them. There we go. Let's go over here and you can see they dim to, the white balance just kills it. They dim to a lovely warm colour. You can kind of see it a bit down there versus the very blue light of those. So there you go. If I get it both, you can kind of see this lovely warm glow versus the blue light of these. So we've got dim to warm on all of the LED. We've got dim to warm on all of the downlights once I've changed them all. So that should look really cool as well. Anyway, yeah, if you're enjoying it, like, subscribe, comment, ask any questions. It's really useful for us and it helps to feed the algorithm. Okay, catch you next time. Bye.